You have a proper setup, yeah, with the mic and
Yeah, I take a lot of calls online, so it helps. My MacBook microphone's not all that great, but it's a cozy setup.
okay. I thought you were like you do some podcast or something like that.
Sometimes I'll chime in on some of them, yeah, but
Yeah,
just do
yeah,
not a lot of streaming yet. I want to do more though, but it's a good setup for it for sure.
yeah. I could figure that out.
Good. I'm glad you can hear
Awesome.
me then. I've done a demo with you guys before, and
Okay.
just wanted to kind of quickly go over the next steps, what it looks like getting started, and I had a few lasting questions. I had went over our last demo notes that I had and didn't get the follow up I was expecting, so wanted to just talk about that. Yeah, I think I was supposed to get a some info sent over to me on one how to start, and then kind of a list of what locks you guys do work with, so I could see what will work for me. So any of the competing companies similar. Hang on, I'm gonna turn my camera off. Seems to be lagging. Can you still hear me? Okay though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Completely fine.
Google Meet has seemed to have this problem last time I was on one.
Well, Google is, yeah. I mean, you have a lot of traffic going on Google, I guess. So,
Yeah. But yeah, we were just looking to, we've looked into a couple companies. I just heard about even this option for the automation of the locks at Verma, and seems like something we want to rock and roll with. The biggest thing that everyone else said was it cost 200 extra bucks for Z-Wave or some sort of module with them, and we don't want to do that if we don't have to. So just want to see what it takes to get rock and rolling.
right, right. So I believe I can see the notes right now. You have Yale locks, right, with August
Yep,
from
that
last year.
primarily. We have a few quick set like Bluetooth ones,
Quick
so
set,
I'm curious if the
right?
Bluetooth quick sets will work. And then we have a few of the Amazon Key ones that an owner already had installed when we took on the property, so I'm curious if those would work. Things like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Quick set, I think. Let me just check. Give me one sec. Let me message my tech team right away, right on the call, so that I can get you the answer right away. Okay, let me see other. You have 17 units, right?
Yep.
With multiple listings. You have certain listings, right? Additional listings on the units.
Yeah, so that was another question we had gone over. I don't recall the answer to, but yeah, so for example, we have a three cabins identical, and so we have a fourth listing that has all three cabins, and then say we do the same thing with any like duplexes where, and then I mean one of them's a 4 unit um, building, so we could really create quite a few listings out of that one.
Right. So how we do it is we don't count the units, we count the listings because we need to program the codes based on the listings and not based on units. If those are standalone, it would basically be on the units, but when it comes to multiple listings on the same unit, we need to program the codes based on what the customers book, for you guys.
Yep.
So when they book a certain listing with combination of units, we need to program the codes for all those units that are covered in that listing. So every time the codes would keep changing for different combinations. That's why we would take the unit as a listing, but not as a single unit.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, perfect. And it's just the
Right.
you guys have like a $200 onboarding fee, correct?
That's correct.
Give me one second here.
$200. That's correct. I mean, if price is a constraint for you, then I can work something out for you on that thing. But yes, I got a response. We don't work with QuickSet Bluetooth and neither the Amazon, so we will have to kind of change those locks in
Okay.
that case. So
Okay.
that would be a bit of hardware investment for you. But this would be like a permanent investment because whether you are with Lynx or any other software vendor in the future as well, you'll be able to use the hardware that we recommend you. And those are the best hardware in the market because since you have done the demo, you would know that we are a complete hardware agnostic company, and we work with some of the top hardware vendors. We integrate with 300 plus smart devices.
Okay, perfect.
And they're used by the industry leaders like Wakasa, Wyndham, Teaming VR, Park City VR, so on and so forth. So there is a reason why they prefer us. In fact, the owner of Streamline PMS, you must have heard of Streamline.
Yep.
The owner of Streamline, they have their own personal properties. They use Lynx on that. So, I mean, they would have relations with every software vendor being a PMS, but they prefer Lynx because they trust the reliability of the software.
Okay, perfect. Do you guys have a list you could provide me of all the locks you do work with so I can verify with the ones that I do currently have before I need to order more?
I can give you the list. It's there on our integrations page on the website. However, my top recommendation would be the Yale locks are pretty good. So you already have Yale locks. So you can uniform them. You can buy the new Yale locks. And all you need to do is add a hub. Instead of August hub, I would recommend a Samsung hub. How big are these? Are these multi-story, like the cabins that you mentioned and the other multi-story duplex houses?
Majority of them are not super big. I mean, we've got like one pretty large house that does have the quick set on it now, but I think that one is a Wi-Fi quick set. Like I said, I'll just need to look and see. I'm on your website now, so I'll check it out, the integrations page.
I sent you the link as well on the call.
Okay, perfect.
So my top recommendation on the hardware would be the best combination that everyone uses is a Yale lock with a Samsung SmartFix.
Does that require, so I guess the main thing we liked about you guys is it doesn't have to have a separate hub. So with that
Right.
switch to the Samsung, is there another monthly cost for that?
No, the hub is included in the price. In terms of you will only pay for the hardware. There is no subscription cost on the hub.
Okay.
So you just pay for the unit and it covers your hub as well. There is no separate charge for the hub on a monthly basis.
How much is the hub?
Hub is $100.
Okay. So that's about the,
You would need one hub in each house because the hub range is pretty good. It's about 40 feet. So, I don't think so you need more than one hub unless and until you have like double-story houses or stuff. That's a different ballgame altogether.
okay, but for what we have right now, you can work with the Yale connected by August.
You would need a hub in that case. Yeah. If you have do you have a separate August hub, like a small hub that you get?
Yeah. So I think what I've caught on from you guys, as long as it can connect to Wi-Fi, then I don't need to buy another hub, right? So that was all the other companies, the Point Centrals and everyone I talked to, they said you have to have like a $200 hub for each house. And I don't, like right now I can unlock majority of our houses from my phone. So as long as I can do that, it sounds like then I can link with you guys.
But the thing is, you are using the Yale app currently, which is via the Wi-Fi. But when you come on Lynx or any other software vendor, you will have to go on their platform. Then you will not be able to operate your locks through the Yale app through your phone. You can do it through your phone, but via the Lynx platform, because then we'll do the programming of the locks and we will control it will be controlled via the Lynx dashboard and not via the Yale app.
Okay.
That's how all the software, because then we need to decide when to push the code, which code to kind of program in the lock. So we need to take control over the lock's memory. So you'll not be able to use the Yale app. Currently you're using the Yale app.
Yep.
That's how you're controlling. Yeah.
I use the August app.
Use the August app. Right.
Yes.
Same thing.
Okay.
So you won't be able to use that. You'll have to kind of. So in my opinion, I think you would need, if you have the August hub, the small square one, which is a plug and play. If you have that hub, then you're good to go. If not, if you are just using direct Wi-Fi, then you will have to kind of buy the Samsung hub.
Okay.
The reason Point Central is asking you to buy because they work on cellular hubs and they have their own proprietary hub. We don't sell any proprietary hardware. We don't manufacture hardware at all. If you go with Point Central, you'll be stuck with them because their service will only work with their hubs. It will not work with any other. So in the future, you want to switch from Point Central to anybody else, you will have to again buy the hub because their hubs are cellular hubs, and hubs that we recommend are the usual Z-Wave hubs that are available in the market. So if you switch from Lynx to any other software vendor, except for Point Central, you can use the same hub. You don't need to buy a new hub. So you can use the hardware in the future as well. If
Okay.
you decide to move away from Lynx.
Okay. And yeah, that's what we were trying to avoid, the Z-Wave, mostly just cost-wise. I don't want to hit my clients with if they have to switch locks, we're going to have to probably eat that as a company. And then the additional $200 for the hub, I didn't want to do that either. So
Yeah, so this is $100 for the hub. Point Central hubs, and to be honest, cellular hubs are never recommended because I just dealt with a customer with 75 units, and unfortunately, their hubs were 3G hubs, and by December this year, 3G is going to be obsolete.
mm-hmm.
The bandwidth is completely going on 4G. So they have to invest in all the hubs, changing all the hubs, which is costing them around $50,000. And they recently decided to switch to us. So their cost went down to 25,000 or 22,000. So that's why they moved from Point Central. And Point Central is, again, the software service is also expensive compared to Lynx.
And what was your guys' cost? So what's your monthly cost?
Our monthly rate that I see was $12 per unit. In your case, it will be per listing. And then I think you were interested in one-way text messaging, white label, so on and so forth.
Possibly, yeah. I'd want to see that again. But yeah, what's the all-included price?
So all inclusive is $23 per listing. That includes your text messaging, white label, everything. But do you have any thermostats or any other smart device?
Some of the houses have the Nest, yeah.
Nest, no. Google has shut down their ecosystem. I mean, since the time Google has taken over Nest, we are not able to onboard any new Nest products
Okay.
because of that reason. So you'll have to buy, if you need thermostats, then you have to buy new thermostats.
How much are those?
My recommendation would be a Honeywell Wi-Fi, and that would cost you about 120 for each unit. But there are a lot of functions that you can do, you can control. So it's a pretty good deal when it comes to buying the thermostats because you can do smart rules like before the guest checks in, put the room at nice 70 degrees, and then when the guest checks out, shut off the thermostat. You can add door and window sensors and control it via the thermostat as well. So if the window is kept open for more than 10 minutes, shut off the thermostat. Similarly for the door. So you can save a lot of energy when it comes to adding a thermostat. And then you can lock the temperature levels. So you can set your, above and beyond limits. So the guests can play around. They can change the temperature controls, but they can't go above and beyond your set limits.
Okay.
You can do that as well with the thermostat. And there would be an additional $5 cost for the software subscription for the thermostat. So every device you add, there would be an additional cost for it. There will be an add-on.
So
It
above,
depends on what you're looking at.
okay, above the,
About 23. About 23.
okay.
Yeah.
So what's all, I guess, yeah, can you break that down then? What's the difference between the 12, 23, and then it sounds like it goes quite a bit above that as well. So,
Right. So the $12 would give you the control for keyless access, where you would have the generation of codes, integration with your PMS, setting up workflows, smart workflows, then controlling your users like your employees and work staff, all of that generating codes for $3 for one-way text messaging. If you want only one-way text messaging, if you want two-way, then you would need to add another $3 where you would have a live inbox that you can chat with the live guests who are staying at your property. $3 for white label. So when you total this up, it crosses 23. But if you take every service, we give you a combo price of 23 for each unit.
Okay. Can you send me that breakdown? Sorry, I'm just very visual. That's what I had requested on the first one.
I can do that.
That'd be perfect.
I can send you all the details. So in total, sorry, in total, how many listings are we talking about over here?
Well, that would just depend on what each one needs. So once I can see the exact, I'll go through and make a list of what the locks are. Some of them that we already have the locks with the August, so like the cabins, those are good to go. We just need to pay you guys $12 a month, and we're integrate. So that's where I'm curious how I get started, and then if I can easily add one at a time. So if I could start with just like my cabins, and then easily add a new property to use.
How many cabins do you have to start with?
So those ones in particular, there's 3 cabins there, 4 listings. There's a barn right behind it that uses the same lock, so there's a 5th one there. Then we have a listing that covers all of it, so that's 6. I mean, I've got, like I said, 17 physical doors, about 22 listings, but it'll be a one-by-one process. So I'll go through and check each one, make sure it's good. I want to try you guys out first and make sure it's going to work for us before we go switch everything up.
Right. So, see, I don't see a problem adding units, but there has to be a commitment because this price that I've given you, or this was provided earlier, the $12, is about, say, around 25 units. So when it comes to units, it includes your listings. But if you fall below 20, your price goes up to $15. So as long as you are ready to commit for the 25 listings or 23 listings, whatever you have, we can proceed with the $12. That's not a problem. You can keep adding later. That's completely fine.
So as long as we're above 20 listings, it's $12,
That's correct.
and below it goes up to 15.
$15, yeah. So if you want to do like a trial run with 5 or 6 listings, then you can start with $15. If you don't want to give a commitment of 23, then you can start with 5 so that it's safer for you, and we kind of don't have any commitment on that. On the 23, we will only be committing for 5 units or 5 listings in your case. And then at $15 you can just take the keyless access and try it out. Once
Okay.
you're 100% sure, then you can proceed with all 23 listings at one shot.
Right.
As and when, I think, and in the meantime you'll have approvals from your owners as well.
Yeah, because we'll just have to work on a case by case. So the owner that owns the 3 cabins in the barn house, so he's got 6 listings right there. He is also our broker. So like he'd be willing to try it out. Okay, if we like this, if it works, then we can use him as a testimonial for the rest of our owners. Because that is a big expense if they have to switch to locks. That's an expense we're going to have to eat if we've already bought a different lock. Is there any contract or anything?
There is a 1-year contract, and that is the reason I'm asking you to go step by step. I'm not someone who will be hungry for sales. I would rather give you the assurance. You better be assured with the service and be sure about everything rather than booking it at one shot and then having issues at the later end. I don't want that. I want you to be 100% sure. Use the service. If you like it, then move forward.
Okay.
That would be my recommendation.
What does it look like if if we stop managing that property? How do we go about terminating just like a one property contract?
So see, there has to be a minimum commitment. So if you go for 6 listings in the contract, there is a minimum commitment of 75%. So you can go down to 5 listings. That's fine. But below that, there is a charge that you would need to pay. So I'm going to share the contract with you. You can read it through. If you have any questions on the contract, we can discuss that further before you sign on.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, ideally we never have to go down, obviously, but like we just had an owner that wanted to end
Yeah,
their
but
contract two
you may
months
never
early,
know.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
you may never know.
they're
Yeah.
moving
So
back
since
home and things change. So
yeah, exactly. So since you are managing it, I don't want you to have any problems in the future as well. Neither for you, neither for us. So it has to be a win-win for both of us. I'm not someone who's going to be selfish and say that, hey, you know what? I'm going to reduce that 15 to 12 and I want you to start with 10. I don't want to convince you to do that. I want to rather you do it for 15, try it out for 5 units, be 100% sure as you know in the future when you once you cross that 20 unit mark, then we can do your pricing at 12.
okay, awesome.
Sorry. Yeah, that makes sense, right?
Yep. And how long does it take to get them in? So like I have one new property that's coming up that will be with us for hopefully like a minimum of a year. He's furnishing right now. I told him to wait until I had this call with you to order the lock. But he's looking to get started by like December 1st. So how long does it usually take to order one and get everything going?
So if you order your hardware through us, there is a minimum lead time of 3 weeks. But the benefit is we do the entire pre-setup and send it to you. So we'll take your Wi-Fi details, we'll take you are on guest right?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll take your PMS details and we'll configure everything and we'll pair your locks. If you're buying hubs, then we do the pairing of the entire hardware, the locks to the hubs, and we connect your PMS as well. So as soon as you get the hardware, you just have to kind of call your local handyman to fix the lock on the door and just connect the hub to the Wi-Fi and you'll be live. And you'll automatically start getting, you'll have your bookings already coming in. So
Okay.
everything will be set. You don't need to waste time pairing each lock and so on and so forth because that's a tedious job. Although our support team is pretty good, they'll be on the call with you to explain you and to take you through the entire process. But it's still, you still have to give time to kind of do the setting of each lock.
Right.
And trust me, people try to save money to kind of do that. They kind of say that, yeah, we'll do it ourselves. But when they actually do it, they're like, shit, we should have taken it from you and kind of, made you to kind of do everything and get it to us all ready and set.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's kind of the pain process with it. Now, are those Yale ones that you guys sell, do they still have a key option?
I'd have to check because those were, we used to get those models. So I'll double check and the email that I'm going to send you, I'll send you the exact lock that we have.
Okay, because I try to put everything on a master key system. So if we could get, like, for any new ones, if we can get ones that I can change the cylinder and have a master key on, that's ideal.
I'll check that out for you. You need a deadbolt or a lever lock?
Each one's a little different. So if there's one that can do both, the cylinder can be changed for a master key, that's perfect because then that way eventually all my properties are just on one key that I have that gets me into all of them.
Okay. Well, see, in your case, instead of, even if it doesn't have a cylinder key, on our dashboard, for each lock, you have an emergency code.
Right.
That becomes a master key. And that is only available to the super admin who's controlling the platform.
Yeah, we do just like to have a backup. Like it's nice to have a physical key because sometimes they've given us a problem before if there's a tech error. It gets really cold here. Say the battery dies and doesn't get charged in time. All those little variables that could come up. Ideally, you guys have the battery monitoring and all those things so we avoid that. But in case of it happening, it's nice to have the key.
Plus, with us, you have the offline mode. So if you have the good combination like GL and stuff, you can use the offline mode where even if you have power outage, Wi-Fi outage, because the way we process the booking is we generate the codes in real time and push it to the lock's memory. So it's programmed, the code is programmed from the access start, the date and time. So it will automatically activate at the date and time, not a minute sooner, and it automatically deactivates at the checkout date and time, not a minute later. So even if you have a power outage or a Wi-Fi outage on that day, not a problem. But there will be zero guest impact.
Okay, perfect. And So with the hubs, so like if my say a duplex or the cabins or anything that are really close by, do we need a hub per lock or per listing, or can we use one hub for multiple close by properties?
See, the average reach of a hub is 40 feet, but I think you can't use it for. I don't know how close are your houses,
They're pretty
but
close
I don't
by.
think so. But do you think it's under 40 feet?
Yeah, the cabins are well, might be like right at that. It's pretty close. And then like the doors for the duplexes are, I mean, 10, 15 feet apart. So
So I think you will need, in my opinion, again you can try it out. In my opinion, you need one hub in each house. So that will be seamless, like because once it's outdoors, because the hub needs to be connected to the Wi-Fi via Ethernet. You can connect it via Wi-Fi, but we never recommend Wi-Fi. We always recommend you to connect your hub to the Ethernet cable, so there is no range drop, on that thing.
okay,
Um, so that's why I always advise to have, and it's always advisable to have one hub in each house because since you have duplexes, it's much more convenient. There is not going to be any drop on the access port or any connection, nothing. It's going to be a seamless. After all, see, you're going to pay on a monthly basis. You don't want an interrupted service, so might as well make the necessary investment, and it's hardly going to. Anyways, you're going to buy hubs, so kind of make sure you buy one for each house to have a seamless access.
right. Except for the ones with August, you're saying those ones that already have the August hub should be okay. Oh, I think we froze.
Confirm if this is the one you have, or you give me 1 second.
Yeah, it froze up there for a second. I didn't hear that.
Yeah. I don't know what's the issue. Um, Let me pull up this image for you. Hmm. How's business otherwise? I hope it's going pretty well for you guys.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. We just hit our slow season, so that's been tough, but
Right.
allows us to spend a little more time focusing on systems for the busy season. But
Yeah. But
hopefully,
I mean, the slow seasons are a good thing because you need to kind of revamp or renovate or add these things.
yep,
You need a
exactly.
breather so that you can do these changes.
Exactly. So we're trying to make the most of it.
Okay, somehow I'm not able to pull that up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the image via the email, as I'm going to send you anyways all the details that we discussed. Based on that, you can just give me a confirmation if this is something that you have with the locks. And if that's the case, then it's super easy. The transition is going to be within, like once you sign up, within a week's time, we can get you on board.
Okay, sounds good. Can we order one like right upon signing up so that 3 weeks starts while we're still onboarding or what?
Yeah, you can. I mean, if you want to purchase locks, I'm going to include that in the contract so that you don't have to wait to kind of order the hardware.
Okay,
As
because
soon as you sign up the contract, okay, I got this pulled up. Give me 1 second. Let me share my screen. Uh, okay. Let me know once you can see it.
yep, that's what we currently have.
Yep. So then you're good to go.
Perfect. Okay, that should work for most of them then, because
Yep.
we that's
But you,
primarily what we have.
yeah, you can. But these are 50. These are $50, and Samsung's are $100. But the range for August hubs is only 10 feet, whereas for Samsung is 40 feet.
Right, but we already have the August on most of them, so
Yeah, if you have, as I mentioned, if you have, then don't make the investment. I will not recommend you to make the investment unless and until if there is, because of it being a duplex, there are locks on the top which are not able to kind of get the access code and stuff. That's a different story. But unless and
Right.
That's where we come in play because we are known for being hardware agnostic. We don't recommend hardware unless and until it's required. So we'll kind of be your hardware consultant, and we'll talk from your end to save you money. We are not like other companies who would say that without the hardware we can't operate. So
Right.
currently you have the hardware, then why do you kind of recommend a new hardware? It's hard-earned money, we don't want to waste that.
Perfect. And yeah, that's why we called you guys back. Just looking to see what it takes to get started. So if it's just a contract and then the onboarding, feel free to send that my way. I'll get the final approval on it, and we'll start bit by bit.
Just give me a final confirmation on total number of listings. That if you need any additional hardware. So based on that, I'll prepare the contract and send it to you. So as of now, you said you have 6 listings, right?
Yeah, I think that would be best to start with. Would be those 6. Well, no, we could do 7, 8. We could start with, we have 8 listings that have the Yale connected by August. So that would be the easiest, quickest transition. I have 1 property that will for sure order a lock and hub right away.
Okay.
Yeah, we would want to like expedite that.
For the new property, you want the August hub or the Samsung hub?
He will probably do the Samsung. I would have to get it approved with the owner, but he would probably go Samsung. I mean, he only has the one.
You want me to include that in the contract, or you want me to wait to send you the contract?
You can include 1 with it. Yep. So 1 new one.
Okay.
So that'll put us at 9 total listings to test trial you guys at, and then we'll talk to the owners about the others.
Okay.
So just one Yale lock with one hub for Samsung. That's for a new one, and we would want to order that as soon as we're confirmed. I'll get your confirmation on it once I see it, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dalton. Lovely talking to you. And if you have any more questions, if you need any more assistance or anything from my end, I'm going to send you an email from my end, so I'll be your man.
Okay, sounds good. I really appreciate it.
All right. You take care. Have a nice day.
You as well. Take care.